Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2, and today I'm going to be giving you part 33 of What If Izuna Uchiha was Naruto Ancestor. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this with all of your friends on your social media platform. And also go ahead and check out What If Kaguya was Naruto's mother that I posted over on Anime King. And later on, I'm going to be posting a brand new episode of What If Izuna Uchiha was Naruto Ancestor. So stay in tune for that. And after that, I'm going to be posting a new episode of What If Naruto returned different after his training trip. So stay in tune for that as well, guys. And I'm also going to be posting What If Naruto was neglected by everyone. And on this channel, I'm going to be posting a new episode of What If the 10 Tails was sealed inside of Naruto. So stay in tune for that as well, guys. And remember, if you're new, to go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all for helping and support, and yeah, without further ado, let's begin this new episode. Start the intro.
I think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their nails.
So, the last spot we left off, Naruto explained to Haku that him and Kurenai is finished. He will still love her with all of his heart, he still loves her. But she made her choice. Haku then leaned forward as she kissed him. As Naruto kissed her back, as Haku was in bliss, as she finally kissed him, as the both of them were in the trees kissing, as Sasuke arrived, as Naruto introduced the both of them, as Haku then went off and dealt with something, as Naruto and Sasuke talk, in 1 month they start their plan. We then had a time skip 1 month later, as the village was in ruins, mainly the battlefield section, seeing that the attack from the Sand Village just happened against Konoha. The Sand Village still thinking that they have the support of the Sound, which they didn't. And in that moment, Sasuke strike as he killed the third member of his team, as Sakura couldn't believe it, as he then knocked out Hinata, as he fired a flare that affected her Byakugan, as she passed out in pain, as Sakura asked him what the hell is he doing, as Sasuke told her it is for the right of the plan, as she did not understand, as he quickly stabbed Kiba and Shino as both of them fell down bleeding out, as he knocked out Sakura and took Hinata and headed off. Meanwhile, outside of the walls was Naruto with his 4,000 shinobis, as he gave them all instructions what to do. As Naruto then headed to the main gate, as red chakra started to pour from him, it then erupted into the nine-tailed cloak, as he started viciously tear through people of the village. As Tsunade found Jiraiya, as Jiraiya told her that he's glad that she's here, so they could stop, but Jiraiya was cut off, as a devastated punch slammed right into his stomach, as he was sent thrust down into the building. As Jiraiya couldn't believe that. Did Tsunade really hit him? As he felt multiple broken ribs. As Gaara then emerged, as he was on Tsunade's side to kill Jiraiya. Meanwhile, at the Sand Village, they sent most of their ninjas to Konoha to attack it, and they left their village wide open, as Tobe was there, destroying the village. Anko and Kakashi and a few other ninjas are surrounded by Gurren and the others. So yeah guys, that was basically the last part we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check over yourself, so let's start this new episode. Kakashi looked over. Is Naruto really your leader? Asked Kakashi to Gurren. Yes, Gurren said. As Kakashi was torn, a part of him could accept and understand why Naruto was doing this. But his loyal Konoha ninja part did not agree with Naruto's actions. He could not understand why Naruto decided to help Anko when he decided to take revenge on Konoha. It only meant that he still cared about his friends and his family, and his revenge was not against them. Naruto was like a son to him. There must be a reason behind all of this destruction. He never fought solely for revenge. He was a better person than that. The question that was in front of Kakashi right now was extremely difficult. What was he supposed to do? Could he really side against a village that betrayed his adoptive son at every point of his life and made it hell? Konoha was not the village that Rain and Obita had laid down their life for. Or could he forsake his duty at Konoha? Could he really side with Naruto? And what about Anko, Kurenai, his friends? What would they think? If Kakashi's guess was right, Kurenai has decided to side with the village. She was loyal to the village after all. That meant that Naruto put her out of her misery, as Kakashi was the only one who could probably understand the dark life that Naruto had lived, once being a part of the Anvo himself. Kakashi then placed his kunai back in his pouch as he turned to Guren. "I need to see your leader," said Kakashi. "Is this a joke? Are you out of your mind?" said Guren. "Like hell we're gonna let you get close to him." "He's my son," said Kakashi without any hesitation, shocking the Sound Ninjas. Anko and the Konoha ninjas could not understand what was wrong with Kakashi. These people were their enemies. Naruto was the enemy now and he wanted to talk to that boy? Had he lost his marbles? As Kakashi started to walk forward towards Naruto's direction, as several Sound Ninjas blocked his way, trying to kill him. Anko was about to move forward to protect him, but Kakashi raised his hand, stopping her. "I am going to see him. Don't interfere," he said. "Don't forget he freed you from your curse. He had no obligation towards any of us after what Konoha did to him, but yet he helped you. He sees you as an elder sister. This is my choice, so back off," said Kakashi. Even Guren was surprised on hearing that. Did their Kage really help these people? And if that was true, was he really their Kage's father? "I am not going to fight you people. I want to see Naruto. And you're going to have to kill me if you want to stop me. Then you're going to have to explain to your Kage that you killed his father in cold blood. And be ready for the consequences," said Kakashi, as a horrified look came in Guren's eyes and the other Sound Ninjas, as they knew that their Kage was a good person, but he never forgave people who betrayed him or harmed person close to him. As Guren narrowed her eyes at Kakashi, she doubted that he could kill their leader. To make it worse, the nine-tailed form that their leader is currently in. "Fine, you can go," said Guren. "Captain," a Sound Ninja said. "Let him go. I will take full responsibility," said Guren, as Anko watched as Kakashi just walked off. "What are you doing, Kakashi?" Anko thought. On top of the Hokage's mountain, 3 people watched as the village of Konoha was in a massacre. People were dying, man, woman, children, as a giant nine-tailed fox was tearing through the village like a harbinger of destruction. "Is this a dream?" asked an older voice. "What the hell is this? This can't be happening. Not to Konoha," his partner said in a terrified voice. "This is reality. It's time Konoha paid for his actions," the last person said, as a creepy smile came on his lips. Meanwhile, in the center of the chaos stood a young boy, as his eyes narrowed at the 400 ninjas that he had slaughtered. He truly wished things didn't go down this way, but there was no going back now. He knew that every person he had killed today was somebody's son, brother, father, mother, sister, something. But this was a harsh reality of the ninja world. Killed or be killed. As his eyes glared at the 2 cages standing in front of him. "What have you done?" Hiruzen said, with a shocked expression on his face. Beside Hiruzen was a Kazekage who was shocked as well to see the hundreds of dead sand ninjas who tried to stop this monster. This is the actions. This is what the actions Konoha did. This is what all of it has caused. For several of my root comrades. Justice for Ren, Naruto said. The Kazekage narrowed his eyes as Hiruzen lost all color out of his face. It was like he had seen a ghost. Both of them had agreed to put their fighting on hold to stop the nine-tailed fox monster that was destroying all of their man that come in his path. And by the time they arrived at Ground Zero, all their frontline forces has been butchered. The nine-tailed beast that was made from chakra was gone, and there stood Naruto with 1,500 ninjas ready to fight. "So you know," said Hiruzen in a defeated voice, as Naruto's fists clenched. "Why? After everything I did for this village, you," said Naruto in a betrayed voice, as Hiruzen lowered his head. "It was for the safety of the village. Every Hokage has to make decisions for the greater good. And sometimes that takes sacrifices, Hiruzen said. But Naruto then laughed. So convenient, but that's to be expected from the power-hungry ninjas and their villagers. And their leaders. Is that really you, Naruto? If you were angry, you should have talked to me. You didn't have to kill so many of your own countrymen, said Hiruzen, as his grip on his staff tightened. It's irrelevant if I'm angry or not. It doesn't matter, said Naruto, as Kazekage pointed at him. Are you the Sonkage? Naruto, Sonkage, the second? Call me whatever you want, Naruto said. It doesn't matter. As Hiruzen realized all of it was a lie that Naruto told him. That Orochimaru was planning on the invasion, when in reality it was Naruto himself. Who are you really? Asked Hiruzen in disbelief. This was certainly not the kind, gentle boy who he saved from the mob. I am a ghost from my past, nothing more. All I want is the success of Valkyrie. That's all. As Hiruzen lowered his head, but he had a calm look on his face. Before Naruto could say anything, stab, as a sword was plunged into Naruto, right into his stomach. Whatever your plan, it died today, traitor, said Itachi, as he drove his sword deeper into Naruto's gut. Suddenly, a victorious sound could be heard, as surrounded Konoha was an army, as they were all wearing the Fire Daimyo Royal Army uniform from the mountains, from the streets. Hundreds of Royal Army uniform was surrounding Naruto's army. Seeing that he was caught up in all of this, Kazekage quickly signaled his army to retreat. Hiruzen simply pointed his finger towards the retreating forces as a large number of daimyo soldiers started to chase them. Even then, Naruto force was surrounded and outnumbered 2-1. Leading the Fire Country's soldiers was Kurenai, as her dark ruby eyes glaring dangerously at the injured Naruto. You died today, traitor, she yelled. You lost, Naruto. This revolt is over, said Hiruzen. This war is over. When I say it is over, said Naruto, even when Itachi drive his sword deeper into his gut. You are surrounded. Your forces are surrounded. You have only two choices, surrender or die. Lay down your arms and I assure you, there will be a fair trial which will judge you and all of your crimes. But Naruto chuckled as Hiruzen frowned. Then, the choice is simple. We, the Reich, never retreat. We never surrender. Soldiers, prepare for glory, Naruto yelled, as all of them yelled. Hiruzen was surprised when instead of panicking, the Reich soldiers got even more encouraged. No retreat, no surrender, that is Reich law. And by this law we will stand. We will fight. We will win. Tetsuya formation, commanded Naruto. As all of the 1,500 Reich soldiers form a single formation, their shields covering each other, and their sword and spear ready to kill any dumb soul who tried to attack them. I want your blood, said Naruto, as the army charged forward, quickly wiping out 50 ninjas in a single strike, as Itachi then got a bone-crushing punch straight to his face that drove him into a building. Naruto pulled the sword from his gut and tossed it at Hiruzen, as Hiruzen dodged the sword. As smoke came from Naruto's wound, as it healed immediately, the Senju cell and also the beast inside of him. Itachi jumped at Naruto again with a kunai, ready to take off his head. But Itachi was surprised when he was kicked right into the chest by none other than Sasuke, as Sasuke landed beside Naruto. As Hiruzen frowned, as he saw Sasuke and Naruto standing back to back against each other. Let's do this, Naruto said, as the daimyo soldiers started to attack them. As Naruto and Sasuke tear right through them, it was like Madara and Izuna tearing through our forces. Even Itachi couldn't believe what he was seeing. Naruto's defeat was certain. He was still surrounded by so many ninjas. And Sasuke, why would he side along with Naruto against the village? What the hell is going on? Itachi thought. As Naruto saw Kurenai was creating holes in his surrounding forces with her great portion of soldiers behind her. As Haku was being overwhelmed, they needed help quickly. Sasuke, stop Kurenai and her dogs. I will deal with these two here, Naruto said. First of all, I don't know why Itachi is here, but I expect answers when this is over, Sasuke said. You will get them. Now go, Naruto said. Itachi quickly moved to stop his brother, But he stopped as he came face to face with Naruto. "You're my opponent," said Naruto. "So be it," Naruto Hiruzen said as he clamped his staff. "You're a fool if you think you could betray this village and get out of here alive," Hiruzen said. "The less you two speak, the better. You betrayed me in the worst matter, and you expect me to live and protect this village like a lap dog? I would rather prefer to die as a traitor than serve a village who spits on his heroes," Naruto said. "A true shinobi fight from the shadows without expecting anything in return. The fact that you consider yourself a hero is shameful," said Itachi. "Look who's talking, the biggest moron of Konoha. Dumbass, I was not referring to myself as a hero. God knows I am far from a hero. I was referring to those shinobis who was used for the benefit of Konoha. Your own clan was mistreated by this village for no fault of their own. Those people being Hiruzen and Danzo, and the elders. It's a good thing I already gave Koharu the punishment that she deserved," Naruto said darkly. Hiruzen gritted his teeth as he realized why his old teammate had went mad all those years ago. He had imprisoned her along with Homura when they were trying to overpower him. He never understood why they went mad in prison, but now he knew why. It also explained why he knew about the Uchiha massacre true story. The only thing that the Uchiha wanted was respect. But due to Tobirama's actions and his students, they were isolated. You were tricked by this old fool and Danzo to thinking that eliminating your clan was something good. You stupid idiot. Tell me, Itachi, you spared your little brother because you consider him innocent. But what about the other Uchiha children? Didn't they fall in the same category? But you never hesitated in butchering them, did you? You're a goddamn hypocrite just like me. So shut your goddamn mouth, said Naruto. For the first time, Itachi felt his actions pointless, as Sasuke was fighting against the village, even after everything he tried to do. Everything had proved to be meaningless in the end. No, I promised Shisui that I would protect this village, no matter what Itachi thought. I am no longer the soldier who you use for your personal gain. I am a Kage and I will protect my people. As Naruto placed his fingers together, multi-shadow clone jutsu, as 200 clones poofed into existence, each armed to the teeth, and now was glaring at the enemy forces who was fighting his army. The real Naruto raised his hand. Butcher them all, he said. The clone army vanished as they teared through hundreds in seconds, killing them. As Hiruzen, that was confident, felt sweat rolling down. He was truly a Kage level ninja. Combine that with the Mangekyou and the Kyuubi. He was a one-man army. Now that the battlefield has been leveled, I want to know how did you find out that I would turn against a village, Naruto said. I never trusted you after a ring incident. I always have Itachi trailing you. When you dropped out of contact a few months ago, my suspicions grew. You were quite good at your deception. It was only 2 days ago when Itachi found out that you were plotting against the village. And that, after he infiltrated the zone, you were a true envoy, Hiruzen said. And you were a true Kage, Naruto said. Never trust in one man and always betraying those who are most loyal to you. Then what the hell do you want? This is the way the world has worked since the beginning. Do you think you're the only one to be dealt such a bad hand? Then think again, Hiruzen said, as he pointed towards Itachi. I may not be the first one, but I will make sure I will be the last, Naruto said. As Hiruzen lowered his head, your parents would be ashamed of you, Naruto. They would be ashamed of what you've become. I thought you would have been the one that lead this village to new heights, not burned it to ashes. I hate you, Hiruzen Sarutobi, said Naruto. You were like a son to me, Naruto. I loved you, Hiruzen said. As Naruto saw that he wasn't lying, as the truth was shown in his eyes. Then I'll make this painless. There was a time when I would have died for you. And if it's any consolation, all of this is not just because of what Konoha did to me. I want to change this world. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but I need to do this. Then give it your all, said Hiruzen, as both Itachi and Hiruzen stepped side by side. As Naruto went into his pocket and took out a cigarette. As he lighted, as Jay just stood there looking at him. After 5 minutes, Naruto finished his smoke, as a smile came on his face. Let's dance, he said. In a flash, Naruto appeared in front of Itachi as he tried to sweep his legs away, but Itachi jumped up. As Hiruzen brought down his staff to crush Naruto, but Naruto twisted his body like a snake. The Hebai style taijutsu, Hiruzen thought, as he remembered uncle was the one who taught Naruto in this style. Enma's hand emerged from the staff to grab Naruto by the neck, but Naruto swatted away with his own hand that was covered by wing chakra. As Naruto brought up his leg and thrust it forward as he kicked Hiruzen right in the stomach, knocking him back. But Naruto didn't have time as he heard a sharp sound as he quickly pulled a shuriken and threw it. Shuriken clone jutsu, he said, as it multiplied to 100 to stop Itachi's shurikens that were coming at him. As Naruto quickly ran through hand sign, wing style, great breakthrough. As Itachi quickly had to grab a kunai as Naruto wind covered shurikens were coming at him as he blocked them. As Naruto felt a buildup of chakra coming from his right. Hiruzen was done by the time Naruto turned towards him. Fire style, great fireball technique, he said, as a fireball big as a 2-story building was coming towards Naruto. As Naruto closed his eyes and took a deep breath, water style, rapid crusher. Without performing any hand signs, water engulfed Naruto from all around and protected him from the raging fireball. As a shuriken was thrown right through the fire, as Hiruzen saw it coming towards him as he brought his staff up to block it. But Naruto quickly substituted himself with the kunai. You will have to do better, Hiruzen said as he blocked Naruto. I saw you doing this trick all those years ago against Ebisu. As Naruto smirked. Sure, old man, said Naruto quickly. Water style, water bullet technique. As they were too close to each other, as Naruto fired off the water bullet, earth style, mud wall. A earth wall was formed between the two of them, blocking the water style, as Hiruzen sighed in relief when he saw it was Itachi. As Naruto grit his teeth in frustration, it seems like he would have to do a lot more work after all. It's hard to believe that his power has grown so much in these past years, Hiruzen thought. Meanwhile, Jiraiya grunted as he avoided another wave of sand that tried to grab him. That redhead boy was persistent. If that wasn't enough, he got a solid punch on his back from Snavi. Why are you doing this, Snavi? This is your village, for God's sake, Jiraiya said. I have something much more better to fight for than Konoha now. I have a family to protect, said Snavi. And what about you, Sandboy? Your father and your sand ninjas must have fled by now, Jiraiya asked curiously. As Gaara gave him his famous blank stare. I serve the second Son Kage, not my father or my village, Gaara said. What did that boy give the both of you make you betray your home? He turned the both of you into traitors. Gaara simply shook his head. Naruto gave me everything I desire. He gave me peace. He gave me sleep. He gave me a family and a place where I belong, despite who I am, and I will repay him for that with everything I've got. You ninja villages and the people in it always treat Jinchuriki like trash, and you were the one who chose our fates, and then you treat us like monsters. Naruto is right. This world needs to burn, Gaara said. Jiraiya could only shake his head. This was a person full with hatred and revenge. What's the matter, Jiraiya? Aren't you being a hypocrite by judging the people of the Sound and Gaara? You of all people know how much damage Konoha and the ninja village has done to this world, said Snavi. To humanity with their pointless wars and everyday violence, Dan, Nawaki, die because of this hatred cycle of war. Jiraiya, you search for the one who would bring peace to this world. I believe Naruto is that one, she said. He has got you brainwashed, said Jiraiya. You're wrong, I chose this. I chose Naruto because I know he's right. You may think he's wrong now, but in the longer scheme of things, this is the best way to achieve long-lasting peace. You don't know what Naruto's true plan is. That is why you see him as a monster, when in fact he's a true savior of this world, said Snavi. And we are on opposite sides. That is why we're enemies today, she said, as she then went through hand sign. Jiraiya seen that did the same, as the both of them slammed their hands down, summoning jutsu. Meanwhile, Kurenai stood face to face with a former teammate of hers. Beside him was the body of 130 of her soldiers. Uchiha Sasuke. She could have not fathomed that the boy who she had known for years, who she came to trust, betrayed her village. She could understand why a scum like Naruto would do this, but he was just an animal who would betray his homeland if it suited him. But Sasuke too? What possible reason he had for doing all of this? Her previous victory against Naruto's army was now a dream, as Sasuke had murdered most of her men. Naruto's shadow clone had wreaked havoc on her army, and what was left was Haku finishing off the rest of the soldiers with her soldiers. You monster, said Kurenai. As Sasuke merely smiled, he was pitying her. Sure we are, and you're a dog, A stupid dog, Kurenai. A fool who had closed her eyes to this world, the reality. You betrayed Sakura, Anko, me, this village. We gave everything to you, and you repay us like this? As Sasuke just shrugged. Don't be mistaken, my loyalty was always to my true friend, Naruto Uchiha. The rest of you were my associates at best. You chose him over us? You're loyal to that animal, she said. She smirked when the smile vanished from his face. Instead, a murderous look came in his eye. So, Naruto was this boy's weakness. You know, I was going to spare you for Naruto's sake. But if there is one thing I hate more than you insulting my brother, it's the fact that you're a hypocrite. Naruto show you mercy, and I won't. Bring it, she said. She blinked as Sasuke vanished, as she tried to spot him, but all she could see was blurs. When the hell did he become so fast? All her thoughts quickly went straight out of the window as Sasuke appeared in front of her in a flash. As she tried to stab him in the gut with her kunai, but it was too late, as she felt herself being drifted into darkness further and further. Thinking that it was an illusion or a genjutsu, she bit her tongue, but nothing happened. Meanwhile, Sasuke saw a very fortified door in her mind. It would be impossible for him to break it and torment her completely, but that didn't mean he would not do anything. He spun his Mangekyo Sharingan and suddenly, black flames started to burn the barriers that were protecting her memories. It was quite impressive that the mechanism soaked up his attack, but a tiny hole was made. He wanted to do more, but his visual powers was no match for the genjutsu placed on her, as he could make her crazy though. Meanwhile, Kurenai face turned to horror, as she was assaulted with memory of she and that traitor making love. This genjutsu won't work, bastard, she said, as tears slipped from her eyes. You think that you're some gift from God to mankind, and that you're some kind of angel and the rest of us are some kind of demons? Said Sasuke. Yes, scum like you should die, she said, as more painful memories assaulted her mind. Naruto is wrong. Coward like you doesn't deserve mercy. He loved you so much, and yet you chose this pathetic village over him. You hate Naruto so much, don't you? Then today I will bestow a curse upon you, Kurenai. You will be forced to bear visions of the man you hate the most. And the most memorable part is that these visions are true. They will drive you crazy, make you question all your beliefs, making you start to hate your beloved village Konoha. This is my justice, said Sasuke. Kurenai then found herself stuck to a cross, as the moon was red and everything else was dark. What are you doing? Asked Kurenai in a trembled voice, as she saw Sasuke standing in front of her with a sword. You broke Naruto's heart. I will break yours, an eye for eye. Welcome to Tsukuyomi, Sasuke said, as Kurenai's screams was heard. Meanwhile, Kakashi raced on the rooftops, as some stone ninjas tried to stop him, but he quickly dismissed all of them. As he saw the two summons, he also saw a giant raccoon building up out of sand right beside the slug. The Ichibai? The one-tail? Kakashi thought wordly. He had to stop this at all costs, as he had to find Naruto. Wait for me, Naruto, he said, as he increased his speed. Meanwhile, back to the fight, Hiruzen coughed up blood from his mouth, as his hand held on to his swollen ribs. As he looked into Naruto's eyes, he couldn't believe that Naruto has changed so much. His eyes widened in shock when he saw the toad and the slug being summoned. And from the looks of it, both of them were on opposite sides. As his shocked eyes looked towards Naruto, asking the unsaid question, Tsunade is on my side, Naruto confessed, as Hiruzen's heart nearly shattered at that. If his adopted grandson was betraying him not enough, then he was going to see the granddaughter of Hoshirama Senju help destroy the village, as it broke his heart completely. Hiruzen closed his eyes as he could feel the remainder of the shinobis, as he felt Guy, as he was surrounded by hundreds upon hundreds of shinobis from the sound, as it was Naruto's move to keep the best taijutsu user at bay. Jiraiya would probably not be able to win because the opponent was Tsunade, who was backed by a transformed Gaara. Hundreds of his soldiers were dead. The reinforcement that came from the daimyo forces were almost killed, as he saw Sasuke dropping Kurenai on the ground like a bag of meat, so she was out as well. Many of his ninjas were injured, not to forget the thousands of civilians who were cramped up in the mountain, his own family included. Sasuke came beside Naruto as Hiruzen saw Itachi tense, as he doubted that Itachi could kill Sasuke, not to forget that Naruto was still there as well. Forgive me, first, second, and the fourth. I have failed all of you, thought Hiruzen remorsefully. Itachi, gather our remaining forces and help the civilian escape, Hiruzen said. As Sasuke grabbed onto his Tonto, gripping it tightly. He wasn't about to let that happen. Hokage-sama, are you asking me to abandon Konoha? We will lose the village, Itachi said. The village was never Konoha. It was the people in it that made it a village. We can rebuild it. Naruto, you cannot allow them to escape. Have you forgotten these people are the ones who abused you for years? Sasuke said angrily. I haven't forgotten anything. Even if Itachi tried his best, he will only be able to save a handful. I want them to escape because that will be the ultimate punishment. Losing their home, losing their life, that will be the ultimate curse. As Sasuke accepted that answer. Maybe you're right, but I can't let this bastard go, Sasuke said as he glared at Itachi. But Naruto shook his head no. You're not strong enough to face him. Besides, the Kazekage and his man are killing my reserve soldiers at this moment. Go with Haku and save them. I want that Kage alive, Naruto said. Sasuke was about to argue, but Naruto glared at him. The mission come first. I have given up everything for Valkyrie. It's time you do the same. The time for vengeance will come for you too, just as it came for me today, Naruto said. Itachi was actually surprised when after a short staring match, his brother looked at him bitterly. This isn't over, Itachi. The next time we meet, I'll kill you, Sasuke said. I'll wait for you, said Itachi calmly, as Sasuke vanished in a quick Shanshin. Itachi gazed, then shifted towards Naruto, who looked around to see hundreds of dead bodies of the sound, of San, and Konoha. It's over. Run away with what few you can. There's no victory here, Naruto said sadly, as his heart broke on seeing several dead bodies of his own soldiers. He knew there would be sacrifices, but these men died, following his order, following his dream. It reminded him of his several rude friends that died, following his order, as it reminded him of Sai as well. With a quick bow to Hiruzen, Itachi vanished to complete his orders. As Naruto then walked over and sat down on a boulder. You haven't changed, have you? Hiruzen said. As Naruto chuckled, as Hiruzen saw tears in Naruto's eyes. I got what I came for. I destroyed Konoha, Naruto said. But there was no gratefulness in his words. Kakashi just walked into the street, as Naruto gave him a glance as Kakashi had heard everything, as he was listening. I don't understand, Naruto. If you wanted revenge, why even spare a single one of us? You have us surrounded, and yet, Hiruzen said. I am not an animal, Gramps. I will be no better than the civilians who tortured me all those years ago, killing them, knowing that they could not defend themselves. Besides, Itachi can only save a few, handful, the important ones. The rest of them will fall in my hands and I know what to do with them. You're not going to kill them, are you? Kakashi asked. As Naruto shook his head. Everyone deserves a second chance. I will need them for my greater plan. All of this is for Valkyrie. But you consider this as an act of mercy from me. As Naruto chuckled. Naruto the Merciful, said Kakashi, as Naruto laughed. It has a nice ring to it, Naruto said, making Kakashi smile. There was still a small part of Naruto in there. I am sorry for what I did to you, Naruto. It was my duty to protect the village, and I did my job. It will never be enough. But at least, I can offer you this for sparing a few of my people. At least, it won't change the fact that I will kill you here, Hiruzen said. I guess we'll have to see about that, said Naruto, as he saw many questions spinning in Kakashi's eye. Naruto, there is something I have to ask you, said Kakashi. Speak, Naruto said. Why? Said Kakashi. Do you know my entire truth? Do you know my story? Naruto asked. Yes, Kakashi said. Naruto's eyes glanced across the burning leaf. I lost faith, Kakashi, in this village, in this shinobi world. Shin and so many of my rude friends died horribly all those years ago, but I continue to believe and fight for this village. The death of my friends was my first pain. Ren was the final straw. When she died, I lost everything. It made me realize, even though I had grown up, nothing had changed or it would ever be in this cursive shinobi world. That is why it needs to be changed, Naruto said. As silence came upon the three of them as neither of them said anything. Kakashi, what is going on in that head of yours? Asked Hiruzen, as he knew that Kakashi was almost messed up like Naruto when they were the same age. When he came back, lost in his friends on that dire mission. First, it was a boy, and then the girl. I've lived a life full of regrets. You're the only thing I ever did in my life, Naruto, Kakashi said. You see yourself in me. I am the person you feared that you would have become. If your friends never dragged you back from the darkness, if you got lost in it, said Naruto. I know you, Kakashi. Remember, before all of this, before Root, before anything, there was just the two of us. You were my father, my brother, my friend. Nobody understands me better than you, said Naruto. Naruto, I know you're not doing this for revenge. You're not that kind of person. Tell me what Valkyrie is, said Kakashi. Guys, we'll be ending this episode right here. If you want to see the next part of this, you already know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on the bell notifications they posted. Remember to share to all of your friends and social media platform. But for now, I'm out of here. Peace.